So pre-season testing is now done and we leave for Australia shortly. I'll be taking my flight in just a few days' time and I can't wait. Probably a good time to go through what we're doing in pre-season testing and why also to a certain extent it's very hard for anyone to really read in where the performance numbers are. So our main purpose of this pre-season testing was to get Carlos acquainted with the team and Alex and Carlos working together through various setup items, various reliability items to make sure we have a good platform to go to Australia with. Obviously, testing in Bahrain isn't relevant to a warm Melbourne, a completely different circuit, completely different temperature conditions. So you're trying to do fundamentals and foundations. And all teams had different programs. For example, in our case, we actually ran all day on day 2 with Carlos and all day on day 3 with Alex, whereas most other teams split the driver allocation. And the significance of that is if you're doing some lower fuel work, we would have tended to do that all in day 2 with Carlos and all in day 3 with Alex, and then some high fuel work at the same time, whereas others would have perhaps left that all for day 3. And that's why you see the timesheets bouncing up and down a little bit. Second of all, what you saw was the times varied each day. The wind was quite strong and the temperatures varied as well. And both of those effects mean that you can have a swing of half a second or even maybe a second and a half at certain points. Significant when you're trying to measure lap times across the days. We're obviously in a positive place in as much as we put in headline times, but a word of caution really to that. We were running different programs to McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari. They're more focused perhaps on a durability, a long runs, and a little bit more fuel in the car. So fuel, generally speaking, for 10 kilos of it, it's about 3/10 of performance. And in our old world, perhaps 5 years ago, you couldn't have teams mixing it up, even though you added 10 or 20 kilos to the car. But the world's changed and the grid has become very compact. And I think it's a great thing for the sport. And the significance of that is perhaps on a lower fuel level, we can now position ourselves slightly forward of where we would be in reality if they were running the same fuel load. That doesn't mean we haven't made a step forward. I'm confident that the car we have this year in every single area you could look at is better. But where it all shakes out, that's the beauty of Melbourne. No one will know until we get there. Last year, as we changed so much of our organization, we struggled to have spare parts there and it cost us on the day. We're not in that situation this year. We have a car that is on the weight limit, first and foremost, and we have a set of spares around us that are the right quantities to be going racing at round 1 of an event. So a positive space to be in. We also have 2 incredible drivers, top tier drivers that are here, that understands what it is to be in a winning organization and to be winning races. And that's a difference to where we have been in years gone past as well. Melbourne's an interesting circuit because it is a street track. It's closed to the public, but it does have a large evolution of grip across the weekend because there's simply not much running. But it's also a strange weekend because on Thursday, a day there's not a lot going on the track, we have live racing. So it's an event that starts one day earlier than most as well at the same time. It's a tough track. There's no room for error. But it's also what makes it one of the greats that are out there. The final element is weather. There is an expression which is there's 4 seasons in one day, and I've been there and experienced that myself. You can have brilliant sunshine and get a huge sunburn to a different day where you've run out of layers of clothing. So to be seen what we get for weather on the day. And first and foremost, thank you for being by our side in this journey. So this obviously marks a new occasion for us. We're now at Atlassian Williams Racing. That's a large departure from where we've been for many, many years. We are partnered with an incredible organization who have seen what we are doing behind the scenes and want to be a part of our journey. It's a monumental occasion for us. Second, we have an absolute top tier driver lineup that are giving their all from every minute that they have available to themselves in order for this team to be successful. And again, that's a departure from where we have been. We have a team structure and size around us that is starting to get the capabilities to be performant, which is again different to where we've been before. We were almost firefighting in a previous world. We're now at least in a situation where we can put our head above water, look out and start understanding how we bring more and more performance to this car. And we have a good package to start the year with, a solid set of foundations that we can build on. So as fans, you would have been here for, I suspect, a number of years as we've gone through a difficult journey, but there's some real tangible elements that you'll be able to see even on your TV screen from home, that you'll be able to feel that Williams is changing and it's a new era. Short answer is it feels great. I've been privileged to have both Alex and Carlos here this week with me. They spent time in and around the different departments of the factory, working on the driver in loop simulator, going through what have we found from a test, what more performance can we find, what can they do to help. So they're not there just to be in the car driving. They're there to be a part of the organization, building it up over the next few years, and it's been brilliant. There's no one single area that's better. I would say it is every single area you look at is just a step up. That could be fit, quality, build, aerodynamics, vehicle dynamics, weight. It's all coming together in a good form and a good package. And in reality, what I've just described to you is Formula One. There's no such thing as one single thing that makes you quick. It's 1,000 small details that are brought up to the same level and better than others. A successful season to me is obviously building on last year. What I mean by that is not just fundamentally in championship position, but making sure that we have a much better grasp of what we're doing in terms of developmental items of use of the product. It's also items that aren't really relevant to the 24 races you see at home, but making sure that we're able to run the car program and those 24 races in succession and tandem with developing next year's car without hindering it at the same time, whilst we're building the team and building technologies underneath as well. So effectively, it's this continued transformation that will take place across 25 and 26 as well, without affecting our on-track performance. A good season on track for me looks like that we have a constant or a commonplace position in the top 10 in qualifying and in racing. And I think we have the drivers to do it. We have a good foundation to work from. So that is our aspiration and goal. The short answer to that is 26 is an absolute vital year for this team to get right. It gives us an opportunity to reset, clear up some of the other elements that we haven't yet done so to. And so 26 is the focus, not 25. That doesn't mean we won't be turning up at every race, not wanting to perform and score every point we can. But our future is at 26 and beyond. Not last, not first. I think the midfield and the pack is very tight, very, very tight. There's going to be at certain races, I think, nothing between 6 or 7 cars. Our job is obviously to be at the leading edge of that midfield. That would be our positioning on things. I think we have to be somewhat realistic. The top 4 are still, in my opinion, the top 4. They've done a brilliant job across the winter period. Our role is to make sure we have shown the world and demonstrated to ourselves we're able to build on what we had last year and move forward against the field. Short answer, yes. One of the things we've put in place a few years ago is making sure we're not a car that just has one element that makes it strong. For example, aerodynamic efficiency or straight line speed, but actually a car that is able to compete with the very best in the high speed, mid speed and low speed corners, 3 different speed ranges across a multitude of temperature conditions, across a multitude of tracks, because that is what you need to win a championship. And simply where we were before gave us exceptional results at a few events. What we need now is a platform that allows us to deliver elsewhere with the right setup tools that we can get the car into the right balance at all those as well. My only final comment is I'm as excited as you are to get racing in Melbourne. We've got brilliant reason to be hopeful this year. As I said, we're now at Atlassian Williams Racing, a completely different world from where we were before, with 2 great drivers backing us and a strong team behind the scenes. It was a good first test. Our job now is to build on that across these first races and make sure we establish ourselves as moving forward relative to the world.